Welcome to your all-active Reserve and Veterans TV series. This information education show has 3 goals. Tell who military veterans are, share about all organizations, auxiliaries, their programs and officers at all levels, and tell about memorials in all the cities we serve in this network. The VA system, state and county officers, hospitals and state homes are also featured. Please do check out our websites. Share your program ideas and concerns via the contact information on the show. We open each month's show with a patriotic theme.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets rammed in, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you for tuning in once again to this nationwide program of Vets Visits on TV. We're happy that you're joining us for our 120th program as we close out our 10th year of Vets Visits. This is our co-host,
I'm Brad Lindsay with Olmsted County Veteran Services.
and I'm Jerry Barnhart, the founder-producer of the program. And now let's look at some dates in history. We begin with noting that the 2nd of March is the date that the Vietnam War began in 1965. The 3rd, the Star-Spangled Banner was made the United States national anthem. I believe the national anthem, the melody is an old British pub song, but never mind, just a little bit of history on that. The 12th of March, the Girl Scouts are celebrating their founding in 1912, and the 17th is St. Patrick's Day. Do you have a little bit of Irish in you today, Brad, my boy?
It's possible.
Okay. And then we conclude noting that the 21st of March is the first day of spring, the first full day. So the spring equinox is upon us. And now, Brad, how about our first feature?
Have you wondered how to develop non-member interest in your veterans organization and also camaraderie? Here's an idea. Invite returning vets to a pheasant hunt. A private hunting reserve worked with a VFW post for this December event. Here's one of 4 groups returning now as Jerry greets them in the field.
Well, welcome back. And how was the hunting out there?
Hunting was very good today.
Good.
Had a great time.
Good.
We've been looking forward to doing this.
Okay.
I'd like to thank the VFW of Rochester and that put this on, and then of course the different vets that we have out here from Afghanistan and
They all served in
Kosovo.
Afghanistan or Iraq too?
Myself is Afghanistan and Kosovo. Chris Strangstein was in Kosovo. Floyd Reister is a Vietnam vet with 173rd Airborne. So, but it was a good event. I'm glad
Oh,
we.
yes.
got
How
to
long
do
have you
this.
been back?
I've been back. It'll be a year this February. I've been
Okay.
back to Rochester. So.
Super. And did you get a pheasant this morning yourself
Yes,
personally?
yes, I got 2.
You got 2. Hey, what's going to happen to those birds? You
Well,
got
we're
somebody
gonna
to
eat
clean
those
them for you?
birds. I don't know if they're going to clean them or not. That's not a big deal. I can clean them, or
Yeah.
sooner or later they're going to end up in my belly. So.
And have a feast.
Yeah.
Well, and were you a hunter for many years before this
Yes, yeah.
experience?
I grew up pheasant hunting northeast of Rochester in Haverhill Township. I grew up on a dairy farm, and then been hunting deer and pheasant, and I started duck hunting this year
Really?
with some friends from my guard company in Rochester, from Bravo Company.
Are you still in the Guard?
Yes, I am. I'm a staff sergeant with the Minnesota National Guard out of Rochester with Company B, 2nd Battalion, 135th Infantry. I'm currently working with Recruiting Command
Yes.
and helping the recruiting effort right now.
Great.
So,
Well, we'll cut this now because I want to get a picture of some of these pheasants you just brought in.
outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you for talking with us this morning. And did we get your name?
Nathan Pike.
Nathan Pike.
Yep, I live in Spring Valley.
Great. And we're up northeast of Rochester. Spring Valley's about, what, about 30
half
miles?
hour south of
Yeah.
Rochester there.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much for
thank
sharing.
you.
Okay, and here's another one of the hunters. And good morning.
Good
Or,
morning.
Of course, it's afternoon
Almost,
now.
yeah.
But you started out about what
Lunchtime.
time this morning?
What, 10? Around 10 o'clock.
And it's about 12:15 now.
Yeah.
And a beautiful 30th day of December 1906 will soon be saying goodbye, right?
Yeah, 2006.
What's your name?
Chris Strongstein.
And you're from?
Originally from La Crosse, Wisconsin, but now moved to Rochester here.
Moved to Rochester. And you're in the Guard also?
Raj, yep.
Okay. And what's your capacity with the
Right now,
Guard?
I'm one of the full-time staff out on with Bravo Company, 2 of the 135 Infantry out on Marion Road, the supply sergeant full-time.
Right. And this was a great experience for you coming back to something like this again.
Oh,
huh?
it was this is my first time doing a bird hunt like this,
Oh,
especially
really?
a guided hunt. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely worth it. Very very
Can
interesting.
we meet your guide?
Yeah, it's Rick, right?
Okay.
Or Steve.
Steve. Good morning. Thank you, first of all, for sharing with us.
I'm Steve Sherry.
Okay, Steve.
I'm a guide here at Hidden Valley. I help out with quite a few of the pheasant hunts. I just pretty much go along and handle the dogs and
And
try to help
you
these
had
guys out.
4 dogs along this morning, was that right?
Yep, we took 4 dogs. We had two labs to start with, and we just finished running 2 short hairs.
And you know this territory pretty well. How many, what do you call it, acres in this preserve?
I'm not 100% sure. You'd have to ask Butch that question. It's a few hundred, quite a few hundred acres, I'm sure.
Okay, so how many total did you get this morning?
I didn't count the birds. Did we get?
7 total.
We got 7.
Okay.
We saw quite a few more, but it was just a great hunt. Had a great
Out
time
of
with the
reach.
guys. It was fun.
Okay, thank you so much for
You
sharing.
bet.
This is the group that was out today, some of them anyway, and here's their take all together. Super. Did you all have fun? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, Harry Kerr, this has been a successful event, hasn't it?
Yeah, we had a decent turnout. Some of the vets canceled at the last minute.
What was your total of the actual young hunters?
We had planned on 12. We ended up with young hunters of 7, and then five vets from Vietnam era.
Okay. And this was sponsored by?
Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1215, Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
Whitlock, Sonnenberg.
Uh-huh. How long ago did you start planning this?
Oh, we got a request from one of the young Iraqi vets about 2 months ago, and so we started putting it together. And then this was the day that worked for everybody, to include the Hidden Valley Game Preserve.
And they were basically your hosts, then, weren't they?
Right. Yeah.
As I recall, you mentioned this at an October meeting first.
Right.
Some
We
part in there?
we had the request back in October, and so that's when we started asking them to find out if there was more interest in the young veterans, and then we made contact with Hidden Valley.
Preserve.
To Butch and Nancy, the owners of Hidden Valley, and through Rick Aarons, a Vietnam era veteran who belongs out here.
So that was the core, and then you just kind of pulled it all together. And
Right.
what was the total number of pheasants that we had in that pan shot?
I think there were pretty close to 40, 36, 40, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Butch and Nancy Owens, Hidden Valley Hunt Club in Pine Island. We've got a hunting preserve. We've been here since 1988, and there's about 800 and some acres in the preserve boundary. And this is the first group of vets we've had here, and I know an individual this morning asked us why we were doing this, and he said, well, when we heard about it, we volunteered our services, and the guys that work for us volunteered their help, and we thought it was a worthwhile thing to do. And weather cooperated. It was supposed to rain all day, and the weatherman cooperated there, which is a change. And we think everybody had a good time. They're down there having something to eat now and getting the birds cleaned here, and we hope everything turns out.
Well, it sure was swell that you folks could host this event for the vets. It's the close of the season now, basically, isn't it? Or
well, the preserves are a little different. We run from 1st of September rather to the middle of April.
Oh, okay. And then they're pretty well hatched and grown by thou, and so you got a good crop.
Yeah, it's an industry in itself. It's we get our birds from a professional grower. That's what they do, and they raise pheasants for preserves like this throughout the country. And so they'll start in producing birds again in probably earlier to mid-March. So when we get them on an as-needed basis, and they're obviously all adult when we get them.
I see. Well, thank you so much for being with us and letting us come in and do some taping on your property here. And this has been a terrific experience for all the vets of all ages and all eras.
Very good. We appreciate it.
And you are?
My name is Corey Schweitzer.
And Corey, you have served a little bit of time overseas, I understand.
That's correct. I was on a deployment to Kuwait in 2000 and Kosovo in 2001. And right now I got a brother, Jason Schweitzer. He's over in Iraq right now as we speak.
Okay. And you are from where?
I'm right here from Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay. And what are your thoughts now as you have a brother overseas and you spent plenty of time over there? What are some of your thoughts as a veteran of what's happening?
Well, right now I'm more worried than anything about him being over there. During the holidays, the terrorists seem to have stepped up their activity, and with Saddam being executed, that's kind of the high point in activity as far as the enemy is concerned. But Jason's a good soldier, and he's never let his troops down. He's the first sergeant for Bravo Company, so I'm real proud of him.
And that's National Guard out of Rochester.
That's correct. It's an infantry company right here in Rochester.
Now, you get an opportunity to go on a hunting trip like this for pheasants, and what goes through your mind?
Just being with the same guys that I've served with a lot of hard times over there, and now it's a good relief to actually spend some good times over here and have some fun with them.
A release.
Yep. And it's good to see a lot of old faces I haven't seen in a while.
I'm sure it is. And the thought about your integration back into society and a job and everything like that.
No problems at all. Everybody's been really supportive. When troops come home, everybody wants to help them out. And that's the way it should be.
Well, that's fantastic. We're just going to take a quick pan shot here. We're having a bit of lunch here after the activity out in the field, and the guys are getting warm over there around the old stove, and some other guys are enjoying a little bit of food, and over there is the grill going hot and steady. And we just hope that there are many other areas, don't we, where they are treating the returning troops as well, and giving them a chance to socialize a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The VFW put this on, and it's definitely something that brings all the troops, old and new, together. So it's a good thing.
Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Absolutely.
For this month's Service Officers Report, I wanted to discuss a benefit that you may be entitled to from Social Security due to your military service. Under certain circumstances, special extra earnings for your military service from 1940 through 2001 can be credited to your record for Social Security. These extra earnings may help you qualify for Social Security or increase the amount of your Social Security benefit. Special extra earnings are granted for periods of active duty or active duty for training. They're not granted for inactive duty training. The information that follows applies only to active duty military service earnings from 1940 through 2001. And here's how it's credited. From service from 1978 through 2001, for every $300 in active duty base pay, you're credited with an additional $100 in earnings, up to $1,200 a year. If you enlisted after September 7th, 1980, and didn't complete at least 2 years of active duty or your full tour, you may not receive the additional earnings. From 1957 through 1977, you're credited with $300 in additional earnings for each calendar quarter in which you received active duty base pay. From 1940 through 1956, if you were in the military during this period, including attendance at any service academies, you did not pay Social Security taxes. However, your Social Security record may be credited with $160 a month in earnings for military service from September 16, 1940 through December 31st, 1956. You cannot receive credit for these special extra earnings if you are already receiving a federal benefit based on the same years of service. There is one exception. If you're on active duty after 1956, you can still get the earnings for 1951 through 1956, even if you're receiving a military retirement based on service during that period. Please note that Social Security cannot add these extra earnings to your record until you file for Social Security benefits. Social Security has a toll-free phone number that operates from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and that number will be on the bottom of the screen as 1-800-772-1213 for further information.
The American Legion is really an international group, and we would note that one of those supporting groups of the American Legion is the Sons of the American Legion. It's been a few years since we heard from their national and a state officer, so let's review their history and learn some of the programs as we hear these two young men, sons of American veterans of the Legion.
We are talking with two members of the SAL, which is a branch or a supporting group of the American Legion. And first of all, we talk with...
I'm Brian Medenis. I'm the 1st District Commander. I am from Squadron 161 down in Leroy.
Which is in the south.
In the southeast corner of the state, south of Austin, down on the Iowa-Minnesota border. And standing next to me is John Zagoda. He is the detachment commander or the state commander for the SAL out of Hastings.
Now, what is your position? What do you do as a commander for a district?
Well, basically, I am kind of like the head of the SAL in the district. I am the head troubleshooter. I work for the detachment commander. I answer questions that the squadrons have. I go to functions. I represent the commander in functions out in the squadrons. I help push membership. I assist the Legion getting their Legion programs out.
And should we move to you for a second, John? What do you do as a detachment that is state commander of the SAL? First of all, we explain the SAL.
The Sons of the American Legion is a program of the Legion. It was founded in 1932 by the World War veterans, World War I veterans. They wanted to be with their sons, so they started this organization up in Oregon in 1932. What we do is we're here to support all the programs, all the functions of the Legion, and support the veterans and what they've done, you know, for the United States and for our freedom. We're a big supporter of all the programs of the American Legion. One of the biggest fundraisers that the SAL does is Child Welfare Foundation. Nationally, we've donated over $3 million as the Sons of the American Legion.
Over what period of time?
Since the start of the organization in 1932.
Good. Now, you mentioned programs. you have a program which is your Commander's Project, is it not, Brian?
Yes, sir. My Commander's Project this year is the Minnesota Council for Assistance to Veterans. It's a program that's up here based in the Twin Cities. It's basically to help homeless veterans find homes, low cost, kind of find a veteran a place to live. No veteran should be able to have to live on a street or in a boarding house. They should have a home of their own.
I suppose there's a counseling program involved with that as far as a job securing positions.
Yes, sir. From what I understand is they try to counsel them and they assist them any way they can to, once they find them a home, to make sure they can hang on to it.
So let's get back to your job now as commander for a state organization. What are some of the functions that you participate in?
I participate in running all the meetings for the detachment, Sons of the American Legion. I am the presider, just like the department commander would be. We go to membership rallies, department, districts, even do squadron functions. We do fall conference, spring conference. I go to the NEC meetings out in Indianapolis. NEC is National Executive Committee meetings. I also do traveling throughout the state. I go to membership dinners. I go to anything basically that the squadrons would like to invite me to. And
so you're a liaison, so to speak, between the Legion and the state.
Yes, I work hand in hand with the department commander and the department auxiliary president, along with the junior auxiliary president.
What are some other types of programs or events? Now, we're here for an executive meeting, right?
That's correct. We're having an executive board meeting today. The reason we called this is we're hoping to help out the disabled veterans camp on Big Marine Lake. They're in need of some money. It's a really nice camp that needs some improvements. It's kind of what you would call, it's kind of been hidden. A lot of people don't really know, like Veterans on the Lake. But what they do is they've got an area there with some cabins and some camping areas that the veterans can come in and camp for the summer and fish, and they've got docks. And they're in dire needs. They need some improvements. And there's a project that our 3rd District Commander, Dave Kruger, is doing for the disabled veterans camp, and he's trying to raise as much money as he can for 14 campsites with water, electric, and sewer hookups. That runs about $2,000 a piece per campsite, so they're hoping to raise somewhere between $28,000–$30,000 if possible.
So more visibility is needed, and the Sons of the Legion are going to try and raise this visibility and raise some money.
Correct.
For this particular statewide project that you are involving, besides these individual commanders' projects.
Yes, the district commander is like I said, 3rd District Commander that is his project. Myself, as being detachment commander, I try to get these projects out amongst everybody besides my own projects that I have. I have 2 projects myself, and we're trying to get as much money as we can for the programs and for the Legion, because that's what we're here. We're here to serve the veterans.
Now, I suppose I should have mentioned this earlier, but there are people wondering, how do you become a member of the Sons of the Legion?
The Sons of the American Legion, you can be a member if your father, grandfather, great-grandfather was in a war. If they're currently living, they must be a member of the American Legion. If they're deceased, you can join, and son, grandson, great-grandson are all eligible.
So the main thing that needs to be done is, even if a young man doesn't, or it could be an older person too, couldn't it, whose father, grandfather, etc. was a veteran, is to determine where is the nearest Legion post, do they have an SAL group, and ask for an application blank.
Yes. Unfortunately, not all Legion posts have Sons of the American Legion. Right now in Minnesota, we have approximately 209 SAL squadrons. We're 10,200 members strong and growing at this time. And if you would like to join, you need to try to contact the Legion to see if they do have a Sons program. If not, they could call department and leave their name, and I can get in contact with them and get them to the nearest squadron in their area.
So that's for Minnesota, but now this is for 20 states that we are serving here at this moment of this interview. So they would just have to find out where the American Legion headquarters was, or the nearest post that may be able to send them on to an American Legion post and get the information on Sons of the American Legion.
That is correct. There is each detachment should have information that's basically a form that tells them exactly, how to join, why they should belong, and if they're really committed to helping the veterans out, it's really easy. I mean, it's basically comes from the heart.
And there are a lot of new veterans coming back, and they are starting families now too, and their wives can be involved in the American Legion and the American Legion Auxiliary, and as they have children, they can join the Sons of the American Legion.
That is correct. We do have dual members, Legion members that are also Sons of the American Legion member, because they're eligible for a son under their father or grandfather, and there are quite a few dual members, and they're the ones that really got the Sons devoted and going to, they've given us help on running meetings and stuff like that, and we really appreciate all the help that they do.
Well, we better call this to a halt for now, and thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing on Vets Visits on TV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Brad, that concludes another show. And next month it'll be springtime and all over, right?
Hopefully.
Thank you for joining us for this program. Hope all is going well for you. Let's keep in mind all of our ground troops and air troops that are serving overseas, and especially those in Iraq and Afghanistan. And let's hope and pray for their safe return, as our troops are doing the very best they can in a difficult situation. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next month for Vets Visits on TV. Thank you for joining us for this month's show. Seen in over 350 communities for over 3,500 half-hour periods. Our websites have additional information about the show and are updated bi-monthly. To contact us, you are welcome to use one of these electronic methods. For all ground mail with questions, suggestions for future programs, you may use this address. Our IRS nonprofit status is 501c3, Information Education. The Minnesota Commissioner of VA and these state-level organizations believe in and endorse Vets Visits. Join us next time, won't you, for Vets Visits on TV. Have additional information about the show and are updated bi-monthly. To contact us, you are welcome to use one of these electronic methods. For all ground mail with questions, suggestions for future programs, you may use this address. Our IRS nonprofit status is 501c3, Information Education. The Minnesota Commissioner of VA and these state-level organizations believe in and endorse Vets Visits. Join us next time, won't you, for Vets Visits on TV.